Hey, welcome back to the Club Junkie Podcast. Hopefully you're having a great week. I am here today recording this, running on fumes. Red-eyed home last night, and I didn't sleep well on the plane. Usually I do. It was a rough one. So, been a long day, but getting the podcast in before it goes live tomorrow morning. Before we get into today's episode, just want to let you know this episode is brought to you by Titleist. And are your irons helping you, or are they holding you back? Eliminating gaps in iron performance is key to shooting lower scores. And the new Titleist T-Series irons are designed to help all golfers hit it higher, farther, and closer. Whether you prefer tour precision, maximum speed and forgiveness, or something in between, T-Series provides irons suited for every level of golfer, all with that signature Titleist quality and feel. They're everything you've loved about Titleist irons with added performance and a new, seamless design that's absolutely stunning across all models, including a clean, modern look for the new T250 and 350. To find the T-Series irons that fit your game or build your perfect blended set, visit Titleist.com to reserve a T-Series fitting near you. So yeah, I am back. We had a few weeks here of media trips, and I'm recording this Wednesday evening. I took the red eye home on Tuesday night, so I was out at TaylorMade on Monday, and then I was with the boys at Fujikura on Tuesday, and then took the old 10 p.m. Pacific time flight back to Detroit. So landed here about 5:30, something like that, 5:20. By the time I got home, it was like 6:30. And usually I sleep really well on the plane. As I've gotten older, I used to never sleep, and as I've gotten older, I've slept better on the plane. And this one was like all set up perfect. The plane was like empty. There was like 100. It was something like 95 or like 112 like open seats available, like on the little board, that was outside the flight. And I'm like Delta, like silver status, like nothing. Silver status is nothing. You get like a free checked bag. But anyway, so I had like a really nice, the exit row seat, my usual exit row seat, and I get 15 minutes before the flight, I get the message I get upgraded to first class. So I'm like, oh man, this is great. I'm like, first class, red eye home with the big seat. I'm just going to sleep. This is going to be awesome. And I maybe slept for like an hour of that flight. I finished watching a movie, I put on this movie that I started watching on the way out. Figured it would put me to sleep. It didn't. And then it was just like, I couldn't get comfortable. It was like every position. It was like I'd be comfortable for like few minutes, 20 minutes, and then it was like I would wake up, like my tailbone hurt or my back hurt or like my legs were kind of like crossed underneath me and they was hurt. It was like I just could not get comfortable, man. It stunk. And I like looked next to me, and then the gentleman next to me is just out like a light. I was like, oh man. So it was a bummer, but all good. Then I came home, and usually I come home, I'd sleep for a little bit, but came home, helped get my daughter breakfast and everything, get her off to school. And then I just kind of started doing a few things and jumped on a couple calls and just, I worked throughout the day. So here we are. It's like 8:30 and p.m. Eastern time. And I think I've had like hour and a half of sleep since yesterday at, I don't even know what time. So anyway, so if I say stuff that's weird, out of line, whatever, mumble, heck, if I fall asleep during this podcast, I apologize. But hey, we need to get a podcast done. It's Thursday. So today we're going to talk about two putters. And of course, they're going to be two putters that you guys have been waiting for me to talk about for a long, long time. Probably two of the most asked about or one of the most asked about putters in all of my Q&As on Instagram. And if you don't follow me on Instagram, at Club Junkie Pod is the account. And I do, usually on Wednesdays, I do like a Q&A session where you guys can ask questions, whatever. I answer them the best of my ability. And I know right now is a lot of people want to know about 2026 equipment and stuff like that. And I can't talk about it. So I apologize. I'm not trying to ignore you. But anyway, this putter, or at least one of these putters, I know you guys were just hounding me about, and I didn't know much about it. Like we saw photos of prototypes on tour, like the Golf Direct What's in the Bag photos. Like there were a bunch of these things out there, but I didn't really know much up until like a few weeks ago that I knew they were actually coming out. And then I finally got, it was a few weeks before they came out. I found out they're coming out, and yeah, then I was able to finally get my hands on them and mess around and putt with them and play with them. But yeah, these are the ones that you guys have been asking a ton about. And It is the Scotty Cameron OCs. So there's a Phantom 11R OC, and then there is also, which is the one we saw on tour. Like we saw a bunch of these like prototypes on tour in some bags, and then there is a Studio Style Fastback OC. So there's two models out that are OC, kind of zero torque, toe up, however you want to call it. But they've got two different models. We knew the one, but not the other, which was pretty cool. And yeah, basically the OC, it basically stands for Onset Center, is what that stands for. So what it basically means is the shaft is in the center of is onset, meaning behind the face, and the C means center, so it's in the center. So it's a kind of center shafted, behind the face type look. So very cool. Like I said, we saw a few of these prototypes on tour, and I mean, I was pretty interested to see what was going on. I mean, the zero torque putters are pretty much the hottest, pretty much the hottest thing in golf. I was going to say mini drivers are there, but I don't think mini drivers right now are holding a candle to zero torque putters. And yeah, we saw a bunch of these things on there. A few guys on tour had them in the bag, but Titleist was kind of hush hush about anything. Like I asked them and all that, and it was just kind of like, wait and see. And they were kind of saying, we're going to wait and just see what happens with the whole space and all that. And now here they are. So pretty cool that we finally get them. And yeah, I mean, it's kind of Scotty's own little version of doing these zero torque putters, which, the overall, thing of it with the shaft going to the center, I mean, that's pretty common. Everybody's doing that. But yeah, I mean, the Scotty does his own kind of thing. It is the Phantom 11, but it is the Phantom 11R. It is a little more rounded. It's a little bit softer. They kind of softened kind of the edges out here on the heel and toe, and the same thing with the wings a little bit. And they just kind of soften the whole thing up, so it's a little more. When you look down and doesn't have as many sharp angles. A little, just I think easier to look at. I like the look of it a little bit better than the original, Phantom 11, but. Yeah, they did a really nice job with this thing, but it's very Phantom 11. Like when you look at it, it's got the little wings, it's got like kind of that T silver section up top, and then the aluminum body that runs through the bottom. Two movable weights. The one thing that is kind of unique when you look at it as a Phantom is when you look at the face, you have a chain link milling on there that is not an insert. It is just a like the Studio Styles. There's a little insert in there, and when you look at the Fastback OC, it has the kind of traditional insert on it. It's got the chain link milling insert, and it's got the little kind of like rubber material behind it. I don't want to call it silicone because it's not that, but that has that. This one is actually milled right into the steel face, which is pretty cool to see them do that. So that's the one big difference from the Phantom, compared to the Phantom 11 and going to the OC version. That's one of the big differences there, but. Yeah, exciting to actually get it. And to be honest, I don't test a lot of Scotty Cameron stuff because Scotty typically doesn't send out media samples. When I heard this was finally coming out, I kind of begged for it. I told my guy over there, I need to at least hit it. I'm like, I'll send me one that I can putt with, and I will send it back. Like, I'm not looking to necessarily keep the putter or whatever, but I definitely need to putt with it because I'm like, my audience is, my followers, they're all about it. They want to know about this thing. So he was like, yeah, no problem. We'll get you one of each, and you can go ahead and roll them and be able to talk about them. So was super excited that I got both of these in, and yeah, they look really good. I think this one here, the Phantom 11, was the one I was more excited about, and I was, I wasn't disappointed with it. When you set it down, you look at it, yes, it is center shafted. The shaft goes into the center there. It's got a touch of forward shaft lean. It's like 1 degree, so you can actually use a standard grip. And Scotty kind of went with a new kind of Matador grip on here. It's slightly bit bigger. It's kind of mid-size. It's got the chain link on it. It's kind of got that like polyurethane or that material, like kind of rubberish material on the outside. But it's actually pretty tacky. It feels pretty good. It's not slick. It's a little bit softer, and then they also have like a slightly stiffer shaft, like black shaft in this thing that I guess they developed with KBS. So it's supposed to be a little bit stiffer, not crazy, still offer good feel, but overall a really good package on it. And yeah, the 1 degree shaft lean, you can use your own grip. And honestly, so far, as I'll talk about, it hasn't really made a difference. But I do have to say, I was really impressed with how the Fastback looked. Because once I heard it was coming, I kind of was like, I don't know. Like it's a Fastback, whatever. The Fastback's been super popular on tour. But this thing here actually looks really good. And I think like kind of the engineering of milling kind of like a block in the back of the cavity. They basically just milled like a little shelf and put a post on it, so you could basically mount the shaft in the dead center. And I think they did a nice job. It kind of looks cool. It's like, milled right in there, and it looks really, really good. So they did a nice job with that. And, from a dress, it looks really good. It looks like a fastback. And, I think for the people who like the look of this thing and like kind of that dual finish alignment that goes with it, I think it works really well. And I think they did a nice job. And it's funny, the more people I've talked to about these putters who have handled them or held them or putted with them, more and more actually like the Fastback OC compared to the Phantom. I thought the Phantom for sure was going to be one everybody loves, and the Fastback would just kind of be there. But the more people I talk to, the more people who really love the Fastback here. So pretty cool to see that this has actually definitely been more popular than I thought it was. But yeah, Scotty's whole thing here of doing the putter this way, having the center shaft. This one here now, when you look at the Fastback, of course, the shaft is definitely closer to the face compared to the Phantom. The Phantom is set back a little bit more center. This here is set a little bit more closer to the face, and I think part of that is probably the design. It's got that hole in the middle, and it's just more of a bladish design, so they're able to shove that thing a little bit more forward. This definitely looks a little bit more traditional. If you're someone who, from a look standpoint, that whole true center shafted, just you can't get into. And I totally understand that. The Fastback OC definitely gives you a little bit more traditional look. I mean, center shafts are I think, slightly untraditional anyway, but this one here is just a little bit more common, or a little bit easier transition from, a regular mallet into this head. But as you'd expect, the Scotty Cameron stuff, the milling on them is fantastic. Shaping's great. All the little details that you'd expect from a Cameron are there. Now, I know some people have said, like, the Fastback, you only get 2 of the 3 dots because they just don't fit in the back. But hey, the Scotty, the cherry bombs are there. You got to have them. That's part of the design, and he was able to work them in there right next to the little bolts for the face insert, which was pretty cool. So yeah, the little details, all that, so one thing I do have to say, man, Scotty, as much as people, there's always people out there who say, like, whatever they say, they're not big Scotty fans. The one thing I will say, whether you love or hate the brand, hate what he does, love what he does, he gets all the details right. The shapings, the thing. I have never gotten my hands on like a Cameron putter and said, man, I wish, that looks a little off, or this looks a little off, or man, that could have been better this way, or whatever. Like, they just kind of nail the details. And I think on both these putters, they did a really good job doing that, because they both look really, really good, and they definitely flow with the kind of brand silo they're in. The Phantom being a Phantom. Like, when you look at it, there's no question it is a Phantom. When you look at this, the Fastback, there's no question this is a Fastback. It's just got a little different technology to it. So yeah, if you don't know, with the whole zero torque thing, as you have a putter, and as you can see, I'm going to hold this thing without manipulating it, as they say. And it just, the face sits square, the face sits square to the target, the toe sits straight up in the air, and I'm just resting this on my fingers. I'm not I'm not taking my fingers and rotating it. I'm just letting it rest on my fingers, and it rotates that way. So pretty cool. And the theory behind that is you're trying to keep the face square to the target at all times. Like, putting is hard, and if you can take one part of it out, which is face alignment, that means you still have to read the putt, you still have to hit it at the right speed, but at least the face is probably going to be more square to your target more consistently. And I will say that this style of putter, I know people out there have said, like, this is it. This is like the game changer. This is, every other putter is obsolete now and all that. It's not the way it is. For some people, these putters just don't work. And there's certain strokes and certain styles of putting stroke and certain deliveries that players are going to miss putts with these, just like they do a regular putter. So now a lot of people find success with this. And like I said, for certain players, or for some players, or a lot of players, it can help reduce one variable of putting, which is massive, and that's hugely helpful. But to think that you're going to buy one of these and you're just going to make every putt you look at because of the zero torque type, whatever, how you were going to call it, that technology is going to just make you make every putt, it is not going to happen. So just, and I don't think any putter companies out there saying that it would. I don't think if you went and asked, Scotty himself and said like, oh, you got these OCs, they're just like the next thing. I don't think so. He's probably sitting there going, we're still going to be making blades, we're still going to be making mallets, we're going to be making different putters for different, for people, because people are going to putt well with all sorts of different putters. So pretty cool they did that. But yeah, a nice setup. I did actually on the Phantom take the sole weights out, and I put in, it came with, I think 20 gram weights in the Phantom, and I swapped these out for 25s. I had them laid over for my Catalina, my Studio Style Catalina. I had them left over, so put those in here just because I felt like it was a hair light, and I do have to say it made a huge improvement to the feel on it for me. So I think getting that head weight just right makes a big deal when you do. It makes a big difference, and it definitely helps with how the putter feels through the stroke. But overall look, I like it. We'll start with the Phantom. We'll talk about this one first. The Phantom 11R, I really like it. Like I said, a little more rounded shape, a little softer on the eyes, and it's just a good looking blade. And I think the way the head was designed with the kind of that T alignment on there anyway, they had that ridge kind of run in the middle and the little wings. The center shaft fits it. Like, it doesn't look way out of place, or it doesn't look like, it looks like it was almost designed for it in a way. And it looks really good from address. At first when I pulled these things out of the box, I knew this one. I was like, yeah, I'm going to love the Phantom. And I pulled it out and I was like, yeah, it looks great. But I pulled out the Fastback and I kept setting it down and I kept going back to it. And I was like, man, that thing just looks, and I think that's what it was. It just looked a little bit more traditional, and I really liked how it looked. Like, it kind of like you gravitate towards it. But then after putting with them, and then, playing with them and all that, the Phantom kind of turned into a little bit more of a favorite. So that's why I put the heavyweights in here. But it's got a good feel to it. I will have to say, through the stroke, definitely feels very stable. I like my whole thing, and you're probably sick of hearing it, but it's the way I say it, is basically, to me, like, I like a zero torque putter that you feel like the face of the putter is pulling itself into the impact. Like, it wants to just stay there, and it has this really stable, stay on line feel. It doesn't feel like your hands can, manipulate it very easily, and it feels like the putter is just like pulling through impact and getting that ball started on the line. I like that feel. And there's putters out there that have a lot of that, like a Lab DF3. The new square-to-square tri-hots from Odyssey, I think, have a lot of that feel to them. And then there's putters that don't. I think the PXG Allen, the Lab Oz putter, all those are very neutral to me. Like, you can put a lot of arc in your stroke and still feel comfortable with it. It doesn't want to just stay like a straight back, straight through type feel. It feels like you can rotate it. You can make it, do what you need it to do to fit your stroke. And there's people who love that. And it seems to be players with a little bit more arc in their stroke tend to like those putters. They gravitate towards that side. As I've talked to people in the industry and, who kind of likes what, that's what it seems like. And then people who are a little bit more straight back, straight through tend to like the more, stable feeling type putters on there. So everybody, there's a lot of options out there depending on how your stroke and what you like the feel of, and you definitely got to experience a few of them to see which one kind of fits you. But this one here has a very heavy kind of mallet feel to it, and I do have to say I like that a lot. That was the first thing. As soon as I started putting with it, I was like, I really like the kind of feel of it. And I know some people say with zero torque putters that they miss left a lot. Like, that's their kind of miss. When I started with this thing, it was pretty easy to get it started online. The other thing that I didn't think I was going to necessarily like is that on this, it's got a kind of it's got like a little half line for an alignment line. It's got a little half line on there, and then that's it. It just runs into the shaft because you run out of space. But I think the way the way this thing looks with that silver like raised section that runs through the back of it, that to me, I think visually is a whole alignment line, and I lined this thing up way better than I thought I would. That's what I found with like the Lab Oz, the DF3, like some of these other putters, some of the Odysseys, they have holes and things like that, and I don't get like a long sight line on it, and I tend to not line those putters up very well, and I struggle to hit my line only because I don't line it up right. And with this one here, I was a little worried about that when I first took it out, and right out of the gate, it was just like out on the course, it was like, nope, I'm getting it online everywhere I wanted to get it online. I was pleasantly surprised that it performed that well in terms of the alignment side. I never felt like I was fidgeting with it, or, is it there? Is it a little like, shut? Is it a little open? It just set it down. It looked square. I would, get it lined up to wherever I was hitting it, whether it was the cup or, just outside, and just take it back and let it go through. And it was like I was hitting really good putts with it. So yeah, I was really impressed with that part of it. And I think, again, that's the big thing, is the contrasting, like aluminum, the black aluminum section there with that stainless top makes a big difference for the alignment side for me. So that part was huge. In terms of the feel on it, I thought it felt really good. So this got the chain link milling like Scotty's do. So it's there for mostly sound and feel. It does affect, roll a little bit. And I will just say, it rolls really well. Like, I never, even playing over the weekend when, playing some greens that were a little bit longer, it was cold, so they're not like, mowing them, they're not rolling them near as much. And with like little hairier, bumpier greens, put the ball, great roll on the ball. I never had a big hop or skip or anything like that. And a few of the guys I played with had some of those things go on. This thing put a really good roll on the ball. And then feel on it, it's a little bit more crisp than the standard, like Studio Styles with the with the insert on it. It's a little bit more crisp. It's got just a little bit more click to it. It's not harsh. It's not loud. It's just a little bit, more click, as opposed to like kind of a little bit lower pitch knock. And I kind of like it. It does. It feels good. It's definitely not firm. Even like I play a Pro V1X, so even hitting that ball, which you're going to hear a little bit of it, it still feels really, really soft, but it's got a little bit of responsiveness to it. And overall, I really like the feel. I think they did a nice job. And this is all one piece. So this is just, all steel here. And then you have the aluminum plates. And this thing here rolls the ball really, really well with a good sound, a good feel. And it's nice and responsive. As you kind of miss it, if you hit it a little off the toe or the heel or whatever, you're going to hear that sound kind of fluctuate, so you know exactly what you did in terms of a miss. But the overall sound and feel is very solid, very crisp. It's very traditional putter. Like, it doesn't sound any different. And again, putting with a lot of different zero torque style putters, that some are different materials like aluminum, some have steel inserts, whatever. This gives you a very traditional feel to it. It gives you that like milled solid face feel. And I think a lot of people like that. And I think a lot of people, that's a barrier to entry when you look at zero torque putters, because they want something that feels like the blade or the mallet that they had. And, aluminum doesn't feel the same. It doesn't sound the same, and all those things. Inserts are a little different. This will give you kind of that same solid feel and sound that you're used to. And it does a really nice job. I was really impressed with it. I like that it is definitely different, because compared to the Fastback to this, they're different putters. And I think depending on what you like and don't like, one of these may gravitate towards you, and the feel sound could be definitely a big thing to it. Now, stability on it also, I think, was very good. You could hit it a little bit off the toe, a little bit off the heel, and it stays square. The ball doesn't go offline very well or very far. It stays pretty true, and it also keeps the distance control fairly consistent as well. You'll notice maybe a little bit of drop off out on the toe. I noticed the ball would come up maybe just a little bit short, but it didn't stray offline a ton. Same with the heel. The heel actually kind of felt like it kept everything pretty consistent to on center, but a little low in the face. You'd notice that ball would kind of come up a little short, things like that. But nothing that you wouldn't figure, on a regular putter anyway. If you're putting with just a regular mallet or a regular blade, those same things are going to apply. If you don't hit it in center, the ball's going to roll a little bit differently. It's not going to quite go as far, things like that. But on the course, this thing was, I don't want to say it was automatic, because I didn't make every putt I looked at, but I got the ball started on lines that I thought, like when I thought I read a putt and this is where it was going to go, I was getting the ball in that line, and then it's just, did I read it right? Is it going to break that much? Did I hit it at the right speed? The other thing, distance control, really, really good. I hit some longer putts, and that's the one thing too. I think a lot of people talk about, I get into these zero torque putters and long putts are difficult. Trying to figure out how hard do we need to hit it, how fast it's going to come off the face, whatever. My lag putting was actually really solid. I was not having my usual thing with lag putting is I leave stuff short, because I get scared of hitting it too hard or whatever. Lag putting was solid. I was getting the ball just to the hole or right around it, never leaving myself in weird spots that it's like, oh, this is going to be a tough 3 putt. It was like getting it close enough where you were pretty confident that I'm close enough where I can make this putt. This isn't like the knee knockers. They aren't, the things that kind of scare you. It was getting it close enough every time. And there's very few putts where I felt like, if I did, which I did, like left one short, and I just didn't think going up the hill it was going to take that much speed off. I felt like I hit actually a decent. I felt I hit the putt I wanted to hit. It just I didn't hit it hard enough, just because I didn't think that hill was going to influence it as much as it did. So things like that. But lag putting was easy to get used to. I think the distance control is good. Again, with just being this solid steel face, the ball comes off with good speed and with good topspin, and it rolls, and it definitely comes out to be able to be very predictable. Now this does have 1 degree of shaft lean in it. I know it's hard to tell, but yeah, it's got 1 degree of shaft lean in it. It's really not that noticeable from address. Like, I mean, it's there. Like you'll see it. I mean, it's 1 degree, and as much as it's 1 degree, you do see it. But it's not too bad, and you see more of it than you feel, because sometimes you get into some of those 2-3s, and you've got that offset grip to kind of help with that. This, I felt like you could use a traditional grip. You can put whatever grip you want on here, and it's going to play. I didn't really notice any additional forward press on it that felt different or anything like that, or made me change my stroke a little bit. I know sometimes with like a lot of forward press, if the grip doesn't like counteract it a lot, I'll kind of feel like I'm hitting up on the ball a little bit. And I think just because, like, I don't know if it's because maybe when I set those down, I see a little bit more face. Like, I don't know if I kind of lean them back a little and I see a little bit more loft on the face, that I feel like I'm kind of like hitting up on it. But this, I never felt like I had that going on. I felt like I could just take my regular stroke and just hit it, and we were good. So that was kind of nice, because I know with some of those it takes a little adjustment period for me. But this, even having the 1 degree, it's not that noticeable, and it honestly, like, having the just traditional Matador grip on here, it played really well. And honestly, I think it was one of those, you didn't tell me, just said it was at neutral, you'd notice, I guess, but like it didn't, I would just keep my stroke the way it is. So that part was really, really good. But I was really impressed. I think they did a really nice job with this thing. There was no, like, when you sole it, it just sits. They did a nice job on the sole design in this thing, where when you set it down, it just sits. It doesn't flop around or move around. There's been a few zero torque putters that I feel like I've had to like just manipulate my hands to get it to square, where I was aiming. And this, you can just set it down. It's good. I've been playing stuff a little bit flat lately in terms of my putters. I've been playing like 1 degree flat. This one here, they just sent standard. So I think you can get it, the Y70 on it, which is, I've been playing stuff 69. So I think with this one here, you might be able to do a little bit. I don't know if you can do any loft, like lie on it. You can definitely do lengths different on it, but I don't know about lie. But I honestly didn't feel like it was sitting there like really toe up or anything like that. I never felt like I had to like move my hands up to get it square. It sold well. It didn't look toe up, and through the stroke, it just felt good no matter what. So yeah, the straight back, straight through on this thing, really good. I really like it. I know a lot of people have asked, because I posted a few photos of it on Instagram and stuff like that, and that I was using it, and they asked kind of like, well, where does it rank in your your zero torque ranking? Because I've been ranking, as my favorite zero torque putters. Man, this one here is right now probably in a battle. It's top 2 for sure. I think for me, it's between this and the Spider ZT in terms of what 2 I like the best. And I'll say I like the feel off the face on this a little bit more. Overall shape, I might give it to the ZT. I think that shape is just kind of unique. But both these putters, I think, perform really, really well. And I really like how they kind of work through the stroke and just stay stable and stay square. And I like that feeling a lot. And, this one here may slightly take over, because I feel like the alignment on this is maybe just a hair easier than the Spider ZT. But yeah, this thing is probably top 2, top 3 for sure in there. And I've really, really liked it. So I am probably going to pull the shaft on this and put I've got a UST all-in shaft that I might throw in here, because it's got that steel tip. It should fit. I just measured it before my podcast with my calipers, and it looks to be the same diameter. So I'm thinking that will work. So I'll clean out the tip section with some epoxy, and that might go in here as well to add a little stiffer shaft, and we'll see how that goes. But this shaft on this one plays well. It definitely feels a little bit more stout than like a traditional, steel shaft that you get in a lot of putters that's really flimsy. This, you can still flex it. It's still got a little feel to it, and that's a big thing with Scotty. Like, I got to sit down with Austin Rollinson and talk about these putters, and he's like, feel is such a big thing for Scotty. Like, he's not going to design putters that don't feel good. and, going to some ultra high stiff carbon fiber shaft was, I mean, they're available. You could do it. But he was like, the feel on this, they worked with KBS to make sure that this thing stiffness wise was what they wanted to offer the golfer, that stability, but also offer a good feel on it. And I think that it works really well together, but I want to see what it'll do with a little stiffer shaft. And then, hey, if it doesn't work, I'll put this one back in. But I want to see what kind of feels like, just because I've kind of liked that feel. But Phantom 11 ROC, I really like. I think it's one of my favorite zero torques, and the feel on it's good. It's got good stability, and it feels like the face pulls itself through through impact, through the stroke. So I've been a big fan of this thing. I like it a lot, and yeah, I played a whole lot of golf with it, and was really impressed with how well I putted, with it. And then the Fastback OC, which is the one that I didn't think I was going to care that much about. I thought I was just going to be like, okay, I'll putt with it, whatever. Definitely like it more than I thought I would. With this one here, I think I would love to throw some heavier weights in here, and I may take the weights out of the 11R and put them in here just to mess around with as well. Going just slightly heavier. I think I've been used to going a little bit heavier. These are 34-inch putters that they sent for like media samples. And so 34-inch putters have the 15-gram weights. If you go to 33, they got 20, and I would take this down to 33, so I don't want the 20s in there. But other than that, I think it feels really good. This thing here, still really stable, not quite as mallety stable as the Phantom 11R, but this one here, it does have just a touch more neutrality to it, I'll call it. Like you can maybe put a little bit more arc into this thing, and it plays well with that. It doesn't want to fight you. It's going to let you manipulate it a little bit, and I think that's good, because I think, some players are going to like one, some players are going to like the other, and I think, in terms of visual, they both look great. Like I like the whole like silver, black, silver look. That kind of those silver blocks in the back and then the opening in there, it does allow you to kind of square this thing up in a different way. It's more of a, I'll call it vertical alignment instead of horizontal. So you can still see where, if you're lined up, perpendicular to the target, you're going to see it there. And I think it's easy to visualize, easy to see. The overall shape is really, really good. It's got the kind of the rounded sides, the flat back. I mean, it looks like a fastback, which, we can see on tour every week is becoming like just a bigger and bigger putter. On tour, we're seeing pros that have these things with every neck imaginable and, different faces and whatever. So definitely a massively popular head shape. But again, much like the Phantom, really good, details on it. All the shaping, all the milling lines, all that stuff looks really good. But through the stroke, still feels stable. You just don't have that feeling as heavy as that face wanting to pull it through. But it's still really good. It's still easy, even if you're straight back, straight through, more straight back, straight through like I am. It still feels good through the stroke. Again, much like the Phantom, you don't have to feel like you're manipulating it. Do I need to get like the toe down? Is the toe up? Whatever. And even if the toe is up like a slight bit, because like I said, I placed up just a little bit flat. It doesn't feel like that throws off the balance through the stroke. Like if it's sitting a little bit toe up, it doesn't feel like all of a sudden it loses that, zero torque feel. It still stays there. And some putters I've messed with that. If it's sitting a little bit flat, like your hands go low or something like that, the whole putter balance feels different through the stroke. Both of these don't have anything like that. Again, details on it really nice. Now feel and sound in this, as I said a little bit before, definitely softer, definitely a little bit more muted sound, very similar to the Studio Styles. So if you putted with, Studio Style Catalina or Newport Plus or Newport or whatever, any of those models, that's the feel that you're going to get here. It's a little bit softer, a little bit more muted sound to it. The click is more of like a little bit of a knock as it comes off. And again, I'm saying that, and I'm not saying that in a bad way. The knock portion is just like it has that lower pitch sound to it. And again, I think some people will like this. Some people like the Phantom's more crisp sound and crisp feel. So this one here, much like before, much like the other one, great roll on the ball. It feels like, it feels like and performs like my Catalina. Like the ball comes off with a good top spin, doesn't hop. Like I said, we're playing in the fall here in Metro Detroit. The greens are not super smooth and all that. So you'll see people out there when you play, like they don't hit it perfect. Like that ball hops or it'll take a little skip or whatever. And with both these putters, I never noticed anything where something hopped, except maybe down the line, to hit something like, pitch mark or, a long spot in the grass, whatever, and you'd see a little hop. But initially, right out of the gate, that first like foot or two, they came off and rolled really, really well. Same thing, distance control, really good. It plays, again, much like a studio style. So if you're used to that kind of distance, all that, fits right in, plays really well. But this one here, yeah, it just has that little bit of ability that if you wanted to throw a little bit of arc in it, you can do that, and it's not going to fight you as much. And it's solid. I think, the alignment style is different. So depending on what you like the look of, the overall shape being, different. I like that the shaft is pushed forward on the face, or pushed forward closer to the face. I think again makes it look a little bit more fastback. I feel like if that shaft was back further, this would kind of have a different look to it. It would kind of take away some of that, fastback DNA that's built into it. But again, easy to line up. Not as easy as the Phantom for me, but still fairly easy to line up. I mean, you've got the vertical line as well as like a little sight line on the top line of the putter. But I think still easy to line up. Certain players are going to love that. And it does. The face stays square. I mean, it's not easy to take it offline. You can, with this one, manipulate a little bit and get it to close or open or whatever, but it's pretty difficult to do. Stability on this, really good as well. Did notice that, like, if you do miss it a little bit toe, a little bit heel on this, I felt like the misses were just slightly outside of where the Phantom was. It never felt like the head was twisting or anything in the hands, but I just felt like, yeah, like if I hit it a little bit, kind of like, out on the toe, which has kind of been my miss lately, just a touch there, that ball might be just a hair more right than a similar miss with the Phantom. And I don't know that you know, unless you're putting with both, like side by side, I don't know that you really notice a big difference. But just kind of notice that toe miss seemed like it was like just a hair more right than the Phantom in terms of my misses there. But the distance control was good on it. Like I said, if you miss it on the toe, the heel a little bit, you're going to come up a little bit short, but overall, that putt is going to get close to where you wanted it. Lag putting, again, I thought was very easy. This one here took me a little bit. It took me a little bit more to get the consistency down, only because I felt like the Phantom was just, like I said, had that face pulling through, kind of that stability to it. This being able to kind of manipulate a little bit, I felt like I would miss those putts just a little bit left, and that's something I do. Like, when I try to hit a putt a little firmer, I'm going to shut the face a little. Like, I get almost like a little yippy, and I know I shouldn't say that word, but I get a little yippy, and it'll kind of turn the face. My right hand influences it, and it turns the face just a little bit, and I'll miss that putt a little bit left. I felt like I could do that on some of the longer putts with this, but short putts, especially if just light grip pressure, just let it do its thing, and you're going to hit it on line and get it to the target, and hopefully get it in the hole pretty darn easily. So, really like this one. It is definitely different. I think they're two different putters. I don't think it's, exact same feel, and it's just a visual thing. I think these things have different feel, different visuals, and I think they're both really good at what they do. They're just different. And I think, as you try them, one of them will probably gravitate towards you, whether it's a looks thing, a feel thing, or just in terms of performance, how it feels with the stroke. One of these will jump out at you. But both really good. I think Scotty did a nice job. I think they're really solid options for zero torque. If you're just kind of going down that road, you've been a Scotty fan or something like that, I think they're definitely worth trying and seeing how you putt with them. But both of them are really good. Like I said, Phantom, for me, kind of took the lead. So that will be one that definitely is in the rotation a whole heck of a lot more. Like I said, I'm going to take it down to 33 inches and see how it goes there. Might even go out and get some 25-gram weights and put them in and make it even a touch heavier and see how it goes. I know there's going to be a point of diminishing returns on that, but I might go just a hair heavier as well. So we'll see what goes on with that. But I like both putters. I think they're really, really nice. And it seems like people have been trying them and wanting to try them more. So I think they hit like actual stores like on the 14th, I think like tomorrow. The 14th, I think they're actually in stores, so you'll be able to go and actually get one then. But overall, really, really solid. The one knock I'll give on both putters, Scotty's got to get to the magnetic closures, man. The fastback, you can get kind of like a blade cover for it, and you could switch it over and play like a mid-mallet blade cover and get one that's magnetic. The Phantom, though, I mean, it's got that like dual flap cover, and it's awesome quality, but it's just I hate Velcro. Like, I want it I want it to be magnetic. So I hope that's one thing. Scotty, if you're listening, which I know you're not listening to my podcast, but let's try to get to magnetic closures. That would be my one thing that I'd really want to change there. So, but yeah, Fastback OC, Phantom 11R OC, both really, really good. I think they did a nice job. And yeah, that Phantom I think is going to be pretty high up in my like end of the year rankings for zero torque putters. So we'll see. That one will be later in the a little bit later. We'll do that end of the year, but it'll definitely be high up there. So that is the OC putters from Scotty Cameron. So yeah, well, hey, thank you. That's all I've got today. Thanks for listening. Yeah, wherever you listen to the podcast, please like, subscribe, 5-star, rate it, whatever option there is, it'd be awesome. And then if you want to follow me on social at Club Junkie Pod, it's the way to do it. And yeah, so, but that's all I've got. I'm going to bed. I'm like literally going to shut this camera off and I'm like walking up to my bed, going to bed. So thank you for listening, and we'll chat next week. I won't be traveling next week, so we'll chat next week and I'll be a little bit more relaxed and rested. So enjoy your weekend and see you.